Hi everyone, I'm Sarima Ibrahim.
And I'm Megan Tan.
And we are here today to discuss with all of you in conjunction with the 2020 World Breastfeeding Campaign all of our mummies frequently asked questions in our Mums with Mums series by mums for moms.
That's right. And of course, World Breastfeeding Week 2020. This year's theme is all about supporting breastfeeding for a healthier planet.
Yes.
So it's all about sustainability and in the efforts of applauding and encouraging moms to create a better future for our kids. And there's no better way to do it than breastfeeding.
Provide them with the best. But
Yeah.
every mom's different. Like, I've got one baby. I'm 42 years of age, and I had my first baby at 41, and her name is Sophia, and she's just turned 1.
Oh,
and you
nice.
have 2 babies.
That's right.
They're still babies though, right?
I'm a mom of 2. My firstborn is already 2.5. I have a toddler and a baby who is now 9 months of age.
Wow.
So I am still going through that breastfeeding journey.
They were quite close, yeah, Megan,
Yeah,
your
I know.
kids?
So I feel like I have been pregnant for
Forever,
the past 2 years,
actually, forever.
That's
You
right.
don't remember your life before you were breastfeeding, actually.
No,
Yeah,
I'm full on mom mode. This
Yeah.
is like one of the rare occasions when I'm out with makeup and all.
I know,
that.
exactly. I'm like, who am I? Am I still me? I'm mummy version of me. But it's okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a different transition in a life phase. I don't breastfeed anymore. Do you?
Yes, I am
You
still breastfeeding
do?
my 9-month-old.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
So let's talk a little bit about your
Okay.
breastfeeding journey.
Yeah,
then.
well, I breastfed as soon as she was born.
Okay.
And there's so much to share about that.
Okay, so now I know that you've stopped breastfeeding now,
Yes.
but what was it like for you throughout the whole journey? How long did you breastfeed for?
Well, I breastfed up until almost 6 months, and there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
Basically, because I had to get back into work and stuff. And oh my God, there's so much to share about that. But I guess we got to go through it one by one. Otherwise, all the moms out there are going to be like, "What?" So I initially started as soon as she was born.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I wasn't going to be able to do it, but of course, it's about just relaxing into it. And I was very fortunate. She latched straight away as soon as she came out.
Wonderful.
And that doesn't happen for all moms. I understand that, and it's a challenge. So she latched, and then I just relaxed into it, because that's one of the things. If you don't relax, it just doesn't flow. And we continued that process, and then we moved into the bottle at about 3.5, 4 months, because because of work and timing and stuff like that. And it was fine, right up until the way she started eating. And as soon as she started eating food, then we had to sort of slow down on the breastfeeding, because she wasn't really interested.
I see. Okay. Well, for me, I always knew I wanted to breastfeed my kids as well.
Okay.
And like you said, they do say that it is a natural process, but sometimes it doesn't come naturally for mothers, right? Because it is a learning process.
Yes, and it's stressful. You feel guilty if you can't get it happening as fast as some say.
Exactly. And like you said as well, I really do believe that it's about nourishing the mind as well, just relaxing to and to just keep an open mind when you want to breastfeed. So I didn't go for any classes prior to that, because I didn't want to put
Me too.
like too much stress.
I was like, let's just be natural. Like cave women did it. Surely we can do this.
Yeah, and it is it's a tough journey, I must say. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a very rewarding journey once you get the hang of it.
Yes.
And it's very there's just a beautiful bond and connection with your child.
Yeah, isn't it like when you're feeding and they look at you, you feel like, wow, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm a woman, and this is the purpose of me being here all this while.
Having said that, there were also, fair shares of ups and downs. It can feel like a very lonely journey, especially because at night when you're up constantly to feed the child, and no one can take that role from you,
yes,
right?
and the pumping, and sometimes it doesn't come out enough, and then you start getting sore, and oh my goodness, and you feel guilty. Oh my God, today I didn't give enough. Is there enough milk here? Oh my goodness. And then when they're drinking, you don't know, are they drinking enough? Or
exactly, because you can't exactly see how much you're taking.
Exactly.
You just go by timing, right?
Which is why, sometimes bottles, moving on to bottles, bottles do sometimes help. I know a lot of people out there are saying, you know, but if you feed with bottles, then it's not really breastfeeding. But what do you think about that?
Well, to me, I mean, at the end of the day, the baby is still getting your breast milk.
Exactly.
So, and you know, not all mothers have the luxury to be with a baby 24/7, right? So we need to work. We need to go back to reality. Sometimes it's a choice as well, and I think that's absolutely fine. You know,
it's fine as long as it's your milk in that bottle. It is still breastfeeding. You know, and of course, once again, we're not here like putting pressure on mom saying, you know, you're a bad mom if you don't breastfeed. Lots of different medical conditions and reasons why some moms can't breastfeed, and you know, we totally understand it's difficult, it is hard, but don't feel guilty about bottle feeding because it still is breastfeeding. And I did that quite a bit. I was pumping for hours and hours, and you know, my goodness, you know, I had a drawer stash of milk. I think at one point I thought I could feed the entire neighborhood with my milk.
Wow, that's amazing though. I mean, like, what did you do to keep the supply up?
Okay, so there are many myths out there regarding breastfeeding and pressures put on moms, right? Okay, one of the things that I heard was that if you are pregnant, again, say, and you're still breastfeeding the child that you have, the milk would be affected. Now, you've got 2 kids, so obviously you've got experience with this. So can you tell us a bit about that?
That's right, because when my son was about 13 months, I found out I was pregnant with my number 2.
Wow.
And at that point of time, I was still breastfeeding my son. So I wasn't sure if I could or could not continue, but I did it anyways for a whole month.
Okay.
And then I went to my gynae and I checked about, you know, breastfeeding because I was worried whether it would affect the baby, whether it's safe for the fetus and things like that. And yeah, it's a total myth that it is not safe because you can do it.
So it's
you
fine.
can still breastfeed.
Doesn't it affect like doesn't it affect the breast milk content? Because I heard that like it changes the hormones and therefore the increased progesterone or whatever affects the milk quality.
Well, it does change the milk a little bit, so the child might or might not want to take it anymore. So I think
does it taste different to them, or what happens?
I have no idea because I didn't really taste my milk. But what happened with me was that because I was getting all these cramps when I was breastfeeding my son.
Okay.
So when I went to the doctor and checked, and he said like, you know what, since Miles is already 14 months, you can stop if you want to.
Right.
So I made that decision.
Yes, because when you
stop.
breastfeed, it sort of contracts the uterus, doesn't it?
Correct.
So if you are pregnant, okay, so
I also know of moms who have gone all the way, even when the child is born and they're breastfeeding the toddler and the baby at the same time. So it's definitely possible if you want to continue your breastfeeding journey.
Okay. So again, it comes down to each individual mom being themselves. So you do you and you find out, talk to the doctor though, talk to your gynae and make sure that it's all going okay.
Now let's cover another myth that is always running in mothers' minds.
There's so many.
I know, right? Like, you know, whether is it okay to breastfeed your baby when you're sick and taking medications?
Okay, that was quite a stressful thing because unfortunately when I was breastfeeding, I got bronchitis at one point, and I think my baby was only 3 or 4 months. Sophia was still very small, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my goodness, and my husband like, can I take meds or not? So we went to my doctor and we discussed it in detail, and he was like, no, it's okay, and he gave me the meds that would not affect breast milk. So you've got to do that. Like, don't take it into your own hands and like reach to the medicine cupboard and just like sort of
don't
take whatever.
Self-medicate.
Yeah, and you can't take what you used to take when you weren't breastfeeding or when you weren't pregnant. You've got to be careful with that. So I just went to the doctor and he gave me the ones that it didn't affect her. You know, I was so worried like whatever I consume will it affect her, give her rashes and stuff, but no, it's okay. So that's a myth. But you've got to check with your doctor like really properly. Just go. I mean, there's no harm in checking before you.
Anyways, they are the professionals. So.
Yeah, they would know. I mean, because we don't know what the ingredients are in each medication. That
so
we
very,
take.
very important to listen to your doctor. Yeah. And speaking of consuming things, what about coffee?
Oh my goodness.
Because I know a lot of moms have asked me this question: is caffeine okay? Will my baby sleep if I drink coffee? And
will I sleep? Because I'm not sleeping already.
But you know what? Yeah. I drank my coffee.
Did you
this
drink
morning.
coffee?
Yeah, and I fed my baby.
Oh right. So you is your baby like hyper or anything?
No. So I kind of.
Are you sure?
I kind of tested.
Maybe it's like you and you think it's normal.
Maybe.
People like us are
but
hyper.
I need it. I mean, I can't function with the sleep deprivation without the caffeine.
Right.
So I did read that it's advisable if you want to have a cup of coffee, it's fine, but have it at the early part of the day.
Before you breastfeed, or is there like a time limit? Like I can have coffee now and wait 2 hours, or
Yeah, well, you could. It's kind of like there's no proper research on it,
Right,
or none that
okay.
I've read anyway.
Right.
So I mean, if for the for your peace of mind,
Okay.
then you could, I think, breastfeed and then have your coffee.
Right.
Because the next feeding would be like hours later,
well,
right?
that's so not for me, because for me, I'm already like, ah! My
So no
baby was born, Sophia was born with her eyes wide open and already a very alert baby. So the doctor's like, I don't think you should drink coffee. So I quit coffee the whole time.
Wow.
I quit coffee the whole of pregnancy and the whole of breastfeeding, because I did not want to see that baby bouncing off the walls. You know what I
Right.
mean? She's already very alert. So no coffee for her. I missed it so much.
I don't know
but
how you do it.
I don't think it's a rule, you know.
Yeah.
Again, it's down to each and every individual mom out there. And again, I know we keep saying it, but it's
Yeah.
true. We've got to talk to our doctors and ask them what's best. You know, like for
Definitely.
me, coffee was a no, but for you,
Yeah,
all
it's
good.
okay. Sometimes I have 2 cups, even in the
Wow.
evening, because I kind
I
of
envy
get the
you.
fuel going. But yes, every baby is different. Some
Yes.
babies are more sensitive than the others, and I think as a mom, you know best.
And you can
know?
watch your baby and see how
Correct.
they react to it.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of our experiences when it comes to our breastfeeding
Yeah.
journey and all the myths and facts. A disclaimer again, we're just sharing our experiences.
It's just
so
us.
yeah, so no pressure whatsoever, but
Yeah.
we'll come back and talk more about this topic.
Let's do it.